Hello again, everyone. The video I posted last week got really good support, and I appreciate everyone's kind words. I'm sure as fellow car guys, you guys know that words of encouragement from fellow car people mean a lot, so I appreciate it. And I have some more ideas of some videos I think you guys might want to hear, especially if those of you that might be interested in getting a 6th generation Corvette. First of all, how good does it look right now? Wow. The sun really does this car justice. By the way, still haven't washed it and it looks like this. That's thanks to ceramic coating. Anyway, today is going to be a video you're going to see, and we're going to talk about a little bit about what it's like to actually drive this car every day. I am not your normal Corvette owner. This car does not, well, it does stay in a garage, but it is driven every single day. I live in the greater Seattle area. I don't actually live in Seattle, but anyway, I drive roughly 30 miles a day, often in stop and go traffic. Yes, I know, it's crazy. I do not have a second parking spot, so it's this and my fiance's RAV4 Prime. But anyway, it's actually a really easy car to daily drive, but we're actually going to talk about it while we drive. So we'll cut back into the car here and talk a little bit about what it's like to drive this car. Alright, so for those of you that are about to click off this video because instead of looking at a Corvette, you're looking at a fat guy, please stick around. We're going to talk about, well, first of all, I do not have much equipment, so this is the best way I could come up with recording this video while I was driving. I thought that was important to talk about driving while I was driving. And I'm actually on the way home from work. I work in the car business and the hours suck. Anyway, if you hear any noise, my front sway bar actually is making a bit of a creak, and I'm getting that addressed tomorrow. Anyway, now that those disclaimers are out of the way, what is it like to daily drive this car? Like I mentioned, I drive this car every single day. It is the only car, technically, that I own. My fiance does have, that I bought her, a RAV4 Prime, which is a great car. That's her car. She's going to school. But mainly I drive this car. Anyway, it's actually pretty good. There are sacrifices, though. One of the things that is a sacrifice if you are choosing to buy this car as your daily driver, which many of you I'm sure will, is you will be consciously aware of the fact that this is not a daily driver car. It is a special vehicle that shouldn't be driven the way that I am choosing to drive it. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. By the way, everyone is going to try and race you. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And most of the time they lose. Anyway, I don't engage in any racing, of course. That is the first thing I wanted to mention, is that, to be perfectly clear, this is not a good daily driver. If you could get a daily, and you can get a daily, you should have a daily. This should not be your daily driver. But if you're like me and you're stubborn, keep watching. The gas mileage in this car is actually pretty good. I get, because I do a lot of highway driving, which I'm doing right now. I'm in 6th gear at 1300 RPM. And it gets mid to high 20s on the highway, which this is not a heads cam car. It's just exhaust, headers, exhaust. But it's really not that bad. Gas mileage isn't too big of a concern. Unless, of course, you're in stop and go traffic all the time, in which case the gas mileage sucks. Who cares? ride quality's not great. That is what it is. If you're buying a Corvette complaining about ride quality, you bought the wrong car. But anyway, so for those of you that don't know, the LS7 does have a issue with dropping the valve. I won't get too specific into, alright, what is this guy doing? I won't get too specific into what that means, but long story short, there's an issue with the heads that needs to have a certain fix done. This car has that fix. The previous owner did it. And if you're buying one, you need to find out if it has it, and if it doesn't, you need to do it. That's a priority, especially if you're going to daily drive this car and have fun with it. But once you get that done, for the most part, it's a Chevy car. You know, I think I have a decent ability to be able to say, as someone who's driving a car that's got 61,000 miles, and I have put 11 of those 1,000 in the last year on it. I haven't had any problems with this car. I change the oil every probably 4,000 miles. I try 3,500 and I'm usually late. So 4,000 miles. Obviously, as a car person, I care about doing above and beyond on the maintenance, and you should have that sort of care and passion if you're going to choose to drive this car every day. It's not a car that you want to buy if you're not going to be able to truly take care of it. What I mean by that is, if you hear a noise on your car, be the kind of person that is proactive. The next day, you need to go find out what that noise is. If they tell you, oh, this particular part is starting to wear, you should replace it. You should replace it. You shouldn't wait. That's the kind of treatment this car deserves, if that makes sense. I'm going to wrap this up in a bow because I'm rambling. I didn't really have an itinerary for this video. I just wanted to talk off the cuff what it's like to drive it. If you can't hear me, that's another thing to keep in mind. It has decent road noise. This car has 345 width tires on the back. It's going to make some noise. Let me try and merge into traffic and not die. Give me a second. There we go. The roads here suck. I'm sure they suck everywhere. Moving on. Let's wrap this up in a bow. Is this car daily drivable? Yes. Should you daily drive it? Not if you have the ability not to. I recommend getting it daily. If you are going to daily drive it because you're stubborn like me and you don't care about what people say, and I appreciate that, things to keep in mind. Gas mileage, not that bad. Reliability, really pretty good. You're going to have some quirks. Things will pop up. Get them replaced and keep driving. As simple as that. If you need new control arms, get new control arms. There's not a ton of space in the car itself. Good trunk space though. A lot of plastics. Interior is very old. I personally do not have a newer screen just because I was a little bit worried about the electronics of the Corvette, you know, with the trickle and all that stuff. I personally just don't want to mess with the electronics. I don't intend. I very rarely listen to the radio. I listen to the car. I have fun with the car. So that's not a concern to me. It might be a concern to you. Overall, you're not going to hear me Also, if there's other things you want to know about me, about the car, I'm an open book. I love to be able to share what I know about this car and provide any insight. If you haven't been able to hear anything that I have said, I